My son's bride sneered, calling me low class at the wedding I paid for, but when I exposed her rich family as paid actors in front of 400 stunned guests, her perfect world crumbled in seconds. What secret did I uncover to spark this unforgettable showdown? I'm Margaret Thompson, a 60-year-old single mom who built a catering empire, only to be humiliated by my son's bride at his dream wedding. This is the story of how I turned her lies into a lesson she'll never forget. If you love dramatic story of betrayal and justice, hit that subscribe button, give a like, and drop a comment with the city you're watching from. I can't wait to hear where you are. I'm Margaret Thompson, 60, a single mom who raised my son David alone while building a catering empire. At his $600,000 wedding, which I funded, his bride, Emily, called me low class and paraded a fake wealthy family to impress 400 guests. She didn't know I'd been digging into her lies for months, holding evidence that would unravel her perfect facade. When I stood up with the final $400,000 payment in hand, I exposed her rich family as paid actors, teaching her that family isn't about status. It's about loyalty. 5 years ago, David met Emily at a charity gala in Charleston, South Carolina. She dazzled him with stories of her elite upbringing, private schools, European vacations, a family estate. I raised David in a modest Charleston apartment, working nights to keep my catering business, Thompson's Tastes, alive. By 2024, it served 30 venues, earning $10 million yearly. My net worth matched. David never knew hunger, but he craved the glamour Emily promised. When they got engaged, I offered to pay for their dream wedding at the Magnolia Manor, a $200,000 venue. I wanted David's happiness, even if Emily's charm felt rehearsed. Planning began in January 2024. I covered every cost: $100,000 catering, $40,000 flowers, $20,000 string quartet, $15,000 photographer, $10,000 cake. Total, $600,000. Emily insisted on grandeur to match her family's status. Her parents, Richard and Clara Vernon, claimed to own half of Charleston's historic district. Their polished manners and designer clothes screamed old money. But something felt off. Emily avoided my questions about her childhood. Richard's stories about his real estate empire were vague. Clara dodged talk of her supposed art collection. At a planning meeting, Emily snapped, "Margaret, stick to the food." "This isn't your low-class barbecue." David flinched, but said nothing. Her words stung worse than any kitchen burn. I'd worked 18-hour days to give David everything. Private school, $15,000 yearly. Clemson University, $50,000 yearly. His first car. Now, Emily reduced me to a servant. I stayed quiet, but I started digging. My catering contacts knew Charleston's elite. No one had heard of the Vernons. A private investigator, my old friend Lisa Grant, found no record of their estate or businesses. Their social media appeared overnight, filled with stock photos. Suspicion grew. Were they frauds? By May, Lisa confirmed it. Richard and Clara were actors, hired through a shady agency for $5,000 each. Emily's cousins, aunts, and uncles? More actors, costing $20,000 total. Her backstory, private schools, European trips, was fiction. Emily was Ellen Carter, raised in a trailer park, no college, no wealth. She'd reinvented herself to snag David, betting on his ambition and my money. I kept this secret, documenting every lie. My lockbox held Lisa's report, bank statements showing my $600,000 transfers, and contracts with my signature as the sole payer. Emily thought I was a nobody. She was about to learn I was the one holding the strings. The stakes were high. My business, worth $10 million, was my legacy for David. If Emily's lies succeeded, She'd control his future, maybe even my company. Charleston's tight-knit community valued reputation. Her low-class jab could tarnish mine, painting me as a crude outsider among the elite. Worst was the emotional cost. David, my only family, was marrying someone who mocked everything I'd built. Losing him to her lies would break me. But I'd learned in 30 years of business, you don't confront a liar until you've got proof. June 14th, 2025, Magnolia Manor. I pulled my 2020 Chevy Silverado into the valet line among Bentleys and Jaguars. The valet smirked but took my keys. My $99 dress paled next to gowns costing thousands. Inside, $30,000 chandeliers lit 400 guests, Charleston's wealthiest, with names on museums and yacht clubs. David and Emily glowed at table 1, surrounded by her family. I was sent to table 20 by the service entrance, where servers spilled wine and speakers crackled. The unwanted relative table. Emily worked the crowd, introducing Richard and Clara as her parents. My father owns half the waterfront, she said, pointing to Richard. Guest nodded, impressed. Our eyes met. She smirked, whispering to David, "Your mom's out of place." David looked down. I'd raised him for 24 years. Soccer games, late-night talks, paying for his MBA. Now he let her call me low class. My table filled with distant relatives and plus ones. Nobody asked about my work. They didn't know I'd paid for every detail. Emily's mistake was the contracts. Every vendor agreement had my name, Thompson's Tastes as the financial guarantor. Emails with planner Rachel Brooks, 25 over 5 months, were copied to Emily. She knew I was paying. The social register's reporter, James Lee, was there, eyeing the wedding of the season. My attorney, Susan Hayes, sat nearby with a briefcase of evidence, Lisa's report, contracts, my bank statements. She'd flown from Atlanta, skeptical. "Margaret, it's just wedding nerves." But she hadn't heard low class from the bride. Venue manager Laura Tate kept checking on me. She knew I signed the checks. Vendors called me, not the Vernons. I held the power. The Vernons thought their fake status made them untouchable. They didn't understand earned wealth. Confronting Emily meant risking David's love, forcing him to choose between her lies and my truth. Staying silent meant teaching him family was disposable for status. My phone buzzed. Emily texted, "Margaret, don't mention your catering job tonight." It's embarrassing. 30 years of sacrifice dismissed. I gripped the folded papers in my purse, proof of her deception. It was time. At 7:30, cocktail hour buzzed. 3 guests approached, clients of Thompson's Tastes. Ellen Price, whose gala I catered last summer. Dr. Michael Chen, whose hospital event I handled in 2023. Sarah King, whose restaurant opening I saved in 2024. "Margaret, you here?" Ellen asked. "Mother of the groom," I said. Her face shifted. Sympathy. Emily didn't say. Whispers spread. "That's the caterer. David's mom. I thought she was nobody." The room buzzed. Richard Vernon, 65, in a $5,000 suit, approached. "Margaret, pleasure," he said, hand outstretched. "Emily speaks highly of you." A lie. "You look familiar." "I catered your charity dinner last April," I said. His smile faltered. "Fine work." Emily's lucky to have a practical mom. Practical, like a hired hand. Emily's smirk grew as guests whispered. David avoided my eyes. Laura Tate approached. "Mrs. Thompson, all okay?" "Perfect, Laura." Emily's cousin, James Vernon, joined us, a young actor with a weak handshake. "Thanks for raising David." "He's perfect for Emily." "He's a good man," I said. "Emily mentioned your struggles." "Struggles? Like building a business alone?" "She'll never worry about money with us," he said. "Family takes care of family." "Not my family." Emily's fear flickered. She knew I wasn't buying it. Her lies were crumbling. At 8 o'clock, Laura texted, "Final $400,000 payment due by 9 o'clock p.m. The ceremony was minutes away. Susan nodded. Briefcase ready. Laura approached with assistance. "Mrs. Thompson, catering payment needs confirmation." My banking app showed the pending transfer, not yet sent. "All good, Laura, if service meets standards." She sensed trouble. James Lee called, "Mrs. Thompson, about the payment." "Wait and see," I said. The Vernons assumed their act was bulletproof. They were wrong. At 8:45, dinner began, the ceremony flawless. Emily shone, David smiled. Richard stood for his toast. "Friends, family," he began, voice dripping with fake prestige. "We celebrate two families uniting." Applause. "Emily, your grace makes us proud to call you daughter." He raised his glass to Clara. "To Emily's mother, who raised her with dignity." Cheers erupted for a woman who'd never tucked Emily in. Emily mouthed, "Love you, Mom," to Clara. My heart broke. Ellen Price froze, glass raised. Dr. Chen frowned. Sarah King stared at me, furious. They knew I'd raised David alone. Laura checked her phone. 9 loomed. Richard finished. "To Emily and David, may their marriage reflect Clara's values." Guests surged to Clara, praising her. I was invisible at table 20. I stood, walking to the stage. Emily's eyes widened, fear clear. Richard smiled, expecting thanks. I took the mic. "I'm Margaret Thompson, David's mother." Silence. "You've praised the woman who raised Emily. That woman," I pointed to Clara, "is a paid actor, like her husband and family. So I paid $600,000 for this wedding. Venue, food, flowers, music. All mine." Susan handed me a folder. Lisa's report, contracts, statements. "Thompson's Tastes, my company, funded this. 30 years, 30 venues, $10 million revenue. Not bad for low class." Emily screamed, "Margaret, stop!" "Stop what? Telling the truth?" Richard stammered, "This is absurd." "Is it?" I held up Lisa's report. "Richard and Clara Vernon, actors, hired for $5,000 each. Emily's real name is Ellen Carter, raised in a trailer park." I showed the emails. Emily copied on all 25. Laura approached. "Mrs. Thompson, the $400,000. I held up the check. "Laura, does this venue serve people who call their family low class?" She hesitated. I tore the check. "No payment, no service." Chaos exploded. Servers cleared tables. The quartet stopped. David grabbed my arm. "Mom, you're ruining everything." "Emily ruined it," I said. Laura radioed, "Suspend service." Richard threatened lawsuits. Susan countered, "My client paid $200,000 up front." The final payment was optional if service was unsatisfactory. Insulting her isn't satisfactory. Ellen apologized. Guests whispered, "Disgraceful. How could she?" James Lee recorded, his photographer snapping. Emily sobbed in her gown. "You destroyed my life!" "You destroyed it when you called me low class." Guests fled. Richard offered money. "It's not about money," I said. "It's loyalty." Laura confirmed the venue was secured. As I left, Emily called, "Can you forgive me?" Forgiveness is earned through choices. Your move. Sunday, the social register ran, "Wedding collapses as groom's mother exposes bride's fake family." It went viral. Emily called, crying, "The Vernons dropped me." David's distant, "You built this on lies." Vendors sued the Vernons for $400,000. Richard offered compensation. "It's not money," I said. "Emily must choose herself." Their social standing tanked, events canceled, reputations ruined. Thursday, clients like Ellen rallied around me. Business offers flooded in. David and Emily tried counseling, but he filed for annulment, citing fraud. Emily moved to a motel, my funding gone. Friday, she visited my office in jeans, no pretense. I lost everything. Job, friends, pretending was exhausting. She'd studied catering, wanting to learn my business. There's a $40,000 job in customer service. Start at the bottom. I'll be there, she said, smiling genuinely for the first time since David was 15. Thanks for teaching me loyalty is earned. Pride returned. Family isn't status, it's truth.